Hi, welcome to Reform Tech channel. In this video, we'll talk about Docker volume. So before we jump into what is Docker volume, we'll first see how a container looks like before a volume is attached to it. Okay, so by default, all the files created inside a container are stored on a writable container layer. Okay, so if we restart a container, the data will be available. But if you stop the container, you will not be able to access the data at that time. And as soon as we remove this container, the data will be lost. So the data will be there only till the container is available. Okay. Also, it's not accessible by other containers. Meaning that if you have two containers, say for example, if you have container 1 and container 2, and you want to access the data from container 1 to container 2, that is not possible in this case. Okay. So it is only helpful only if you want the data to be stored temporarily. Okay. So to overcome this disadvantage, we have Docker volumes. So Docker volumes on a host, we have a physical file system. We need to point this physical file system to a container. So when a container writes to its file system, it gets replicated or automatically written on the host file system also, and vice versa. So if you have a file system written here, it will be copied to the container also. Okay. Now you know why we are using volumes, because the data is persistent here and it is easy to manage, and you have a backup also for the data. Okay, now let's look into the types of data, types of volumes, sorry. So you have three types of volumes now. So you have anonymous volume, you have named volumes, and you have the host volume. So what is an anonymous volume? So it is a volume which is created in random hash. So there are a lot of numbers and digits mentioned there in the volumes. So if you have multiple volumes, then it will be difficult for you to know which volume is mapped for which container, since there is all a hash value there. And next, the named values. So now in the named values, you will create a volume with a name. So now it is very easy to understand which container uses this volume. So you have to give some meaningful name to that volume, so that it be easy to identify which container is tagged to which volume. And in the next one, you have the host volume. So when you use a bind host, a file or directory on the host machine is mounted into a container. So the file or directory is referenced by its absolute path on the host machine. Okay, so you just have to mention the path and it is mapped. Okay, mainly you'll use the named volumes in production environment, and most of the places use the named volumes. But we'll just see how all these types of volume works and how a container works without volume also. We'll take four different cases and see how this works. Okay, so I'll maybe I'll do it in the next video. And yeah, so that is it for this video. Let's catch up in the next video. Thank you.